Hey, LuLaRoe, Rachel Vanderwall here. I'm just popping in today to discuss some additional items to take into consideration when you are starting up your own LuLaRoe business. So if I say anything that's helpful for you today, go ahead and give me a thumbs up on my video. That'll be super helpful. And other than that, let's get started. Okay, so one of the first things that I wanted to bring up is that you make sure that you have a good understanding of how you're going to manage your own accounts. You have to manage your own inventory and your own shipping and all of those costs, which normally direct selling companies do all of that automatic for you. This is a little bit different because you do have to manage that and keep track of all of those things yourself. So you want to take care of all of your expenses and have all of your spreadsheets all lined up and nice and organized. I know for me, I have an upline who gave me all of her files, and then I'm happy to share that with my downlines. So one thing you can do is call your upline and ask how they manage it. How do they set everything up and what do they look at? Maybe they have some files to share with you and maybe they have some really good advice. You can get spreadsheets on Excel. If you don't have Excel, Google Docs has a spreadsheet as well that is really manageable and easy to maintain. So you might want to look into that. One of the things that you want to keep in mind when you are doing your accounting is that 20% of what you make needs to go straight into your savings account so that you have enough for taxes next year. Just tell yourself right away, 20% of this is going into my bank account, no doubts about it. It just goes there and then you never have to touch it again. And that will be super helpful. You'll really appreciate yourself next year at tax time when you are doing all of that. Because you don't want to be out of money. You want to have enough that you can get right in there and just pay your taxes and be done with it. Okay, so initial supplies. These are all things when you're starting up, anything that you spend on your company, those are all tax write-offs. So again, with your accounting, make sure that you are documenting every little bit of what you are spending your money on for your business. So let's go over a few things that you are going to want to think about when you are estimating your startup costs. The first thing is if you are going to be doing in-home pop-ups or events or taking your merchandise with you, you definitely want to have some rolling racks. I personally am probably not going to do a lot of shows, but I did want at least one rolling rack for my house so that I can at least organize some things here and there at home. So I got a collapsible double rail rolling rack that I can just collapse and I can throw it underneath my bed when I'm not using it and pull it out when I do need it. And that was about $70 on Amazon. Most rolling racks are going to be about $60. You can get them at Bed Bath & Beyond, you can get them at Amazon, but make sure that you're reading the reviews and you're reading how much weight that it can hold. A lot of times on Amazon, they have some really great deals on racks, but they fall apart really easily and they're flimsy and they're just not very well made. So make sure that you're reading the reviews and you're getting a really good rack for your needs. Another thing you want to consider is hangers. I got some hangers on Amazon again because Amazon is my happy place. I got hangers on Amazon. I got the felt lined hangers, and you can get those in all sorts of colors. The ones that I got are aqua. They're super pretty. So they're aqua and they are $50 for about $25. I know they had some hot pink, they had black and tan and a whole bunch of different colors, but just go to Amazon and search for it. So you can definitely get some cheap hangers. Another option, if you want to skip that cost when you're starting up, you could go to stores like Old Navy or other retail stores, especially like the discount type stores. Are always looking to get rid of hangers, so they'll give you a ton of hangers for free. And that's a really nice option to cut down your startup costs. Another thing that you want to keep in mind too is if you're doing at-home boutiques for people, you want to have a full-length mirror to bring with you because not everybody has a mirror in their house. And if they're hosting people, and people want to try things on and see how they look and they don't have a full-size mirror, that can be kind of annoying. Or if they're full-size mirrors in their bedroom and they don't want people to go in their bedroom, you want to make sure that you have something with you that is easy to carry and that customers are going to be able to see what they look like. Again, Amazon is a great source for that. You can get racks, or sorry, not racks. You can get mirrors for a pretty decent price, like the ones that stand by themselves. You can get those for about $40 as well. Also, storage for your house. Not everything is going to go on a rack. You're going to have some leggings, or sometimes you're going to keep things folded and just keep them in their packaging until they're ready to ship out. So you want to have a good storage place for a lot of those items. I really like the Sterilite. They're plastic. They're made from Sterilite, and they're drawers, and you can put them on wheels, you can scoot them around, but those are about $18 a piece at Walmart, and you can get those in tons of different colors. But those are a really good buy too, because they're cheap and they hold everything and they keep everything contained, and those are excellent. I know a lot of other consultants have a lot of baskets that they throw everything into so that they can keep everything all neat and organized in size. So if you are going to be doing a lot of online sales, one thing that you have to keep in mind is you want to have a really good, clear representation of what you are selling. So when you are considering your photography, make sure that you have the right materials to get the right representation of what you have. So make sure you have really good lighting. I know a lot of consultants work out of their garage or out of their basement, and there's not a lot of natural light down there. So if that is something that you're going to do, make sure that you have some sort of great lighting. You can go on Amazon and get a lighting package for like $40, $40 to $50, and those are, you know, those umbrella type like you see in the photography studios, and that's a really cheap way to make sure that you have good lighting in your pictures, because you want to make sure you're showing the right color, you want to make sure you're showing the detail of the fabric, and you want your customers to feel like they're really getting a good quality piece. Another thing you consider is you could get a dress form, and again, Amazon is great for that. You can get them for about $50 to $60. Make sure you get the smallest one so that it fits your smallest clothes, and then you can, when you put the larger stuff on there, I have pins that I just kind of, you know, cinch it together and make it look a little bit better. That's a retail trick that I learned. Even when you have the larger clothing, you can still pin it on the dress form. Nobody knows what size the dress form is. They just want to see what the clothes look like on a body. So that's a really great way to have everything nice and neat and organized, and make sure that you've got your representation of what you're selling. Another thing that you can consider is what everything looks like behind your items that you're showing. So a lot of times people like to make sure that their backdrops are really pretty and nice and neat. So if you have a nice blank wall, that's great. You can paint that any color. So a bucket of paint is something that you might want to keep in mind in your initial costs. Photography backdrops are super cheap on Amazon. You can get those for $10 to $20. I have a wood plank wall that I use, and that looks really nice. So make sure that your backdrop and whatever is behind your dress form or whatever you're hanging up, that has a nice look to it also. Sorry, my phone. Okay, so another business expense are things like business cards and thank you notes and all of those printing things that you are going to need. One thing to remember is with printing, ink costs more than blood. So make sure you have a printer that has really good ink, or you know, you're just going to have to buy from somewhere else. It's going to be a lot cheaper to buy from Vistaprint or buy through LuLaRoe. You can get business cards through LuLaRoe, about 500 cards for about $33. They're beautiful, and they're really pretty. And that's not too bad of a price, honestly. But you can get them cheaper from Vistaprint if you upload your own templates and items like that. You can get like 500 to 1,000 for about $20, particularly if you have a coupon, and that will be really helpful in cutting your costs. You also want to put things like your return policy, your how to wash and things like that. Customers are really going to appreciate if those are in the package when they get that. Oh, signage for if you're doing events, if you're doing vending events and stuff like that. You want to make sure people understand what your booth is and who you are, and represent yourself really well in that way. And Vistaprint, Vistaprint and LuLaRoe has some really great items for that. If you go to LuLaRoeCustom.com, you can see all of the things that they offer, and then you can start managing what you want to spend your money on that way. So tissue paper, twine to hold together, things like that. Not all consultants do that, but some do. Some really like that extra little care, and customers really do like that as well. But those are super cheap. You can get those at the dollar store. Super, super cheap. So just those little packaging things really make a huge difference. So the final thing that I want to discuss, so that you can start taking it into consideration, is shipping. You will probably be shipping a lot. And label making is a huge cost of that. You are probably going to eat up a ton of ink on your printer unless you invest in a thermal printer, which just uses toner. And that's so much cheaper than ink, because if you only need black and you only need to make little labels, that's a much cheaper, more efficient way to print up labels. Also, the labels themselves, the actual paper that you're getting, you're printing on, that's going to take up some cost too. As far as different shipping options, you can use USPS and do flat rate boxes. You can do shippingeasy.com, stamps.com. I know PayPal has a way to ship as well. Contact your upline and see what their method is, and maybe your upline's upline or the group that you have been put into. Start asking around and see what they like best, because I know everybody has their own different preference, and there's lots of great options out there. So we'll start researching those things right now. If your first party is going to be online and that's your launch party, one of the things you're going to have to remember is to keep a little bit of money set aside for shipping out those costs, because Audrey doesn't pay you right away for your very first party. It takes a little while for Audrey to get you into the system and get your first payment paid out. After that, it's like every day that it'll pay you. But that very first one, I've heard some girls have waited up to about 2 weeks for their very first initial payment. So customers are going to want their stuff right away. So make sure that you have enough money set aside that you can ship out those items to those customers, and they can have their stuff waiting. And that way you're not waiting for Audrey to pay you so that you can ship everything out. You can just get it all out the door, and hopefully people are going to be coming back to you wanting to buy more before you even get your first payment. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Make sure that you check below in the description to find out other ways that you can follow me and see how I'm doing. You can find my group, and I'm on Instagram and Periscope, and let's stay in touch. Thanks for watching today. Bye-bye.